The Judge Dredd role-playing game by Games Workshop came out in 1985, but the Judge Dredd Companion came out in 1987, and it contains a solo adventure. So I think what we ought to do is create a judge and take him on the beat. Now, to generate our strength, we're going to use the improved rules from the Judge's Companion, where we roll a d12 and look at this chart. That is a 9, so our strength is 3. And for our initiative, combat skill, drive skill, tech skill, street skill, medical skill and size skill, we roll 2d10 and add 20 for each of those abilities. To find out how many actions we get, we take our initiative, divide it by 10 and round it up to the nearest whole number. So we actually get 3 actions, and if we look at this chart, those take places in phases 3, 6 and 9, so that we know when we can take our actions. So Judge Kingsley is ready to go on patrol. No amount of training and simulation can take away the thrill of being on the streets on your own for the first time. The past 15 years have seen you sweat through many grueling hours of practice, fighting the simulated perpetrators of simulated crime. Technology made it utterly realistic. It had to, or you would have been totally unprepared for this moment. In the simulators, you often forgot that the perps were only robots, programmed with responses, hydraulic pumps oozing the synthetic blood through their plastic bodies. The danger was there most of the time. The pain and fear was certainly there, but despite all of this, deep in your subconscious you knew it for what it was, and could only be. Training, and only training. But now it is reality. The cold, hard, cruel city, your peds, your patch, your beat. You stride purposefully forward. Reaching your first check-in station, you open up a comlink to Sector House. I'm in position and starting patrol, you report. On the other side of the sector, another older judge's face breaks into a weak smile. He remembers his first day too. Acknowledged. Good luck. The line dies. You look around you. The time is 6:40, and the shopplex is humming with life even at this early hour. Citizens meander through the walkways and pedways, each dressed in their own peculiar way. No matter how many times the psychologists from Division explain things, you know you'll never understand the citizens of the city you are devoting your life to protect. A young Juve in brightly coloured clothing catches your eye, nervously holding it for a fraction of a second longer than seems natural. A challenge, maybe. He turns and walks away quickly. Your mind races with unexpected panic. Your first incident, maybe, or is it? You could follow him at a distance and turn to paragraph 10. Shout, Juve with the red knee pads, freeze or die. Go to paragraph 20. Or ignore the whole thing and put it down to the creep just spitting about. Or spugging about, I guess. It's asterisked. So we've seen a young Juve. He's nervously caught our eye and held it for a fraction too long. Shall we follow him at a distance? Shout, freeze. I think we could follow him at a distance. Let's turn to paragraph 10. The cocky Juve walks quickly onto a glide walk, buzzing with a great many citizens. You carefully follow at a distance, hoping that you don't look too conspicuous among these crowds. The Jew doesn't seem to appear to spot you. After only a few moments, he leaves the pedway and saunters across into a sweetarium. Arriving there only a few seconds later, you glance through the window to see him pocket a small bag of munchies. What now? Will you stop immediately, or wait? Well, if he's pocketed it, it's worth having a word. Let's go to number 25. Hold it right there, kid. Name? You growl in your sternest voice. Wilbur Wongfist, he stammers. Make a birdie roll. Street skill plus 50 on a D100. Okay, so street skill is quite good for us. 50, 60, 70, 89 or less. Street skill plus 50, yeah. 72, close enough. Okay. We make it, we turn to 74. Kid is obviously lying. You just broke the law, kid, you growl. Now I'll ask you just one more time. Name. The Juve grunts. Sylvester McGregor. Lord Dult. Previous, kid? You snarl as his file comes through from Mac. Empty your pockets. The Juve obeys hesitantly. Out comes a flicky knife. Prohibited weapon, eh? That's 1 year. Move it. You cuff the little creep to a holding post. Radio for the catch wagons to pick him up, then set off on your beat again. Go to 15. In the distance, but growing louder all the time, a mechanical humming floats over the hubbub of the milling citizens. With a crackle of static, your helmet mic bursts into life. This is Control. There's an illegal sky surfer heading your way. Take necessary action. What will you do? Should you rush to a nearby Justice Department watching post, radio back to the sector house and ask what action, or would you rather spend a second or two properly assessing the situation? I shall go to a watching post, because I'm guessing it'll be best to watch him from and see where he is. The nearest post is but a short sprint away. You rush across to it, punch in your personal ID code, and a grav lift takes you up to give you a bird's eye view of the Shoplex. Screaming over the heads of the terrified citizens, a young sky surfer dodges back and forth, followed closely by a weaving spy-in-the-sky camera. Sooner or later, she has to crash into the crowds, and you know too well what the high-octane fuel of these boards can do. What will you do now? Do you take a shot? Oh my goodness. At her from this great distance, or wait and see if she moves any closer before taking any action? Or do you want to rush down to ped level and apprehend the perp at close quarters? Well, if there's always this high-octane fuel, then I don't want that exploding over everybody. So I'm going to rush down to ped level and apprehend the perp at close quarters. We turn to number 53. Sprinting down the pedway, you reach street level just as the surfer flies out of range, zigzagging erratically. Suddenly she doubles back onto the level below you. Go to 33. You are just about to buzz Control when the sky surfer lurches sideways suddenly, collapsing on the control plate of her board. You must act quickly to prevent a disastrous crash. You could leap from here and try to knock her body off the plate, blow her away with an HE shell, or you could wryly contact Sector House and tell them you'll be needing a meat wagon. An emergency squad here soon. I'll try to knock... Try to knock her body off the plate or blow it. I'm just trying so hard to avoid blowing everything up. I'm going to go to 12. I'm just trying to avoid explosions, really. You fly through the air in a graceful arc worthy of a champion dustboard leaper on the moon. Your timing is impeccable. You hit the board, knocking the surfer off the acceleration plate. Turning over as you continue to fall the remaining 3 meters, you see her dangle by the safety cord. The board's cut out, bringing it to a shuddering halt. As you drop, a sudden thought flashes through your mind. Roll a 6-sided die. On a roll of 1 to 4, turn to 72. On 5 and 6, go to 26. So, let us roll our faithful D6. 5. Okay. What a way to go. You hear a sickening crunch in the distance. Everything slows down, your sight fades, and blackness takes its place. You have died in the course of duty. Congratulations are in order. If you have any relatives, rest assured that they will be informed in due time. Welcome to a long list of statistics. The end. So if we'd have rolled a 1 to 4, what would have happened then? We go to 72. Knee pads, dozens of knee pads. You land on a hapless street vendor. His stall stacked high with the new high-bounds, in-fashion knee pads. Somewhere in the distance there is a sickening crunching sound. Pain sears through your body like the flash of a laser, then darkness falls. The heavy veil of unconsciousness rolls down on your first assignment. You wake up in a med bay in the sector house. You've got a few broken bones, but you'll live to fight another day. The end.